Hello and welcome to Standard Voice Television Global News at 3 p.m. today, 2nd March 2026, equivalent to Islamic calendar, 13th Ramadan 1447 after the Hijrah of the Noble Prophet. In the headlines, Presidency refutes viral video alleging plot to poison Tinubu. Independent National Electoral Commission pledges credible and transparent 2027 polls. Troops of Operation Hatnunkai repel terrorist attacks and kill scores. And on the international scene, United Nations warns of rising poverty and hunger globally. And on sport news, Arsenal beats Chelsea to retail top place on Premier League table. Details of these and more will come to you in the news bulletin. I am Sumaya Mustafa. The presidency has dismissed a viral video alleging that a chef attached to the presidential villa was arrested over an alleged plot to poison President Bola Ahmed Tinubu, describing it as false. Special Advisor to the President on Information and Strategy, Bayo Onanuga, described the video as fake news, adding that the story was entirely fabricated and should be disregarded. He urged the public to rely on official communication channels for verified information, warning against the spread of unsubstantiated reports capable of causing unnecessary panic. It was gathered that the video, which gained traction across social media platforms, claimed that security operatives had arrested the alleged culprit following intelligence reports of suspicious activities linked to food preparation within restricted areas of the villa. The Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, has assured that the 2027 general election will be credible and transparent, promising to address past challenges and improve the conduct of the polls nationwide. INEC Chairman Joash Amupitan, who made the pledge at the Citizens' Town Hall on the 2027 Electoral Act in Abuja, expressed hope that the Commission's preparations would ensure smooth and reliable elections. Amupitan, while addressing worries about electronic result transmission, said INEC is taking concrete steps to prevent the technical glitches that affected the 2023 presidential election. He added that legal provisions allowing alternative collation methods are safety measures, not expectations of failure. The INEC boss disclosed that the electoral umpire plans a mock nationwide presidential exercise ahead of the 2027 to ensure the system can handle large-scale elections. Moving on, the National Assembly says it included both electronic and manual transmissions of results in the amended Electoral Act to avoid disenfranchising the electorate and preventing voter apathy during the 2027 general elections. Speaker of the House of Representatives Abbas Tajuddin disclosed this when he hosted the Ambassador of Spain to Nigeria, Ambassador Felix Costales, during a courtesy call at his office in Abuja. He also noted that due to inadequate internet penetration in the country, it would be counterproductive to allow only one electronic method of results transmission under the Electoral Act. The Speaker also assured that based on his interaction with the chairman of the Independent National Electoral Commission, INEC, Joash Amupitan, the 2027 general elections will be more transparent, accommodating and inclusive. Earlier, the Spanish ambassador to Nigeria, Contales, said his visit was to seek the Nigerian Parliament's understanding to deepen bilateral relations between the two countries, especially in legislative diplomacy. The All Progressives Congress APC remains the dominant political force ahead of the 2027 general elections. APC National Chairman Nentawe Yilwatda, who stated this at a town hall meeting, dismissed suggestions that the recently signed Electoral Act gives the APC any structural advantages, maintaining that the law applies equally to all political parties. He, however, called the surge of defections by politicians elected on opposition platforms both legitimate and politically rational. He claimed that the decrease in fortunes of their former parties served as a motivator for many defectors. The APC national chairman also urged that the APC's internal unity and governance approach make it to the preferred political platform for both politicians and voters. Yilwatda's comments coincide with continuing discussions about electoral changes and the effect of cross-party defections on Nigeria's democratic landscape. as political realignments deepen as parties prepare for the 2027 elections. Still in the news, major opposition political parties, the People's Democratic Party (PDP) and African Democratic Congress (ADC), have launched a nationwide digital membership registration exercises as part of efforts to comply with the Electoral Act ahead of the 2027 general election. The development is against the stance of the opposition parties that met in Abuja, kicking against the Electoral Act 2027 as amended and signed by President Bola Ahmed Tinubu. PDP National Publicity Secretary Ini Ememobong, in a statement, announced that the party would begin electronic membership registration nationwide on Monday, March 2, 2026. In the same vein, the ADC National Publicity Secretary Bolaji Abdullahi, in a statement, said the party has commenced nationwide online membership registration. It was also gathered that ruling APC may reopen its e-registration portal this week to enable more Nigerians to register as members. The Zamfara state government has ordered the immediate abolition of cash-based revenue collection across state, directing all ministries, departments and agencies (MDAs) to adopt digital payment systems to enhance transparency, accountability and efficiency in revenue management. Governor Dauda Lawal issued the directive during a town hall sensitization on the Nigeria Tax Reform Act 2025 organized by the Zamfara State Internal Revenue Service in Gusau. Spokesperson for the governor, Suleiman Bala Idris, in a statement said the move is aimed at strengthening digital systems, harmonizing databases across MDAs, enabling real-time monitoring and improving interagency verification to curb revenue leakages. Governor Lawal also emphasized that revenue generation is a collective responsibility of all government institutions, warning that informal collections, duplication and leakages will no longer be tolerated. The news is coming to you on Standard Voice Television. Still to come in the news. Troops of Operation Hide K repel terrorist attacks and kill scores. And on the international scene, we will bring to you that United Nations warns of rising poverty and hunger globally. And on sports updates, you will hear that Arsenal beats Chelsea to retail top place on Premier League table. Do stand by for these and more after this break. Welcome back from that short break, and now the news continue. Troops of the Joint Task Force Northeast Operation Hide K repelled coordinated attacks by ISWAP fighters on Forward Operating Bases (FOB) in Mayanti, Gajigana and Gajiram in Borno State. Media Information Officer of the Joint Task Force, Lieutenant Colonel Sani Uba, in a statement, said the attacks were successfully foiled, with troops retaining control of all positions. According to him, troops repelled the assault, killed 5 terrorists in Mayanti, 3 at Gajiram and 2 during the Gajigana attacks. Uba also confirmed that an officer was killed during the encounter, adding that the troops recovered assaulted rifles, bombs and ammunition. Moving on, the federal government is set to confront the persistent challenge of Almajiri and out-of-school children across the country. Minister of Education Tunji Alosa made the assertion while supporting the Committee of State Commissioners of Education in Nigeria during a peer learning webinar aimed at advancing coordinated education reforms nationwide. He described the initiative as timely and aligned with national education priorities, stressing that stronger collaboration between the federal government and sub-national governments remained critical to sustainably reducing the number of out-of-school children. However, education stakeholders have continuously stated that sustained funding, accurate data tracking, community engagement and curriculum integration remains critical to ending the Almajiri and out-of-school crisis, which has long been linked to poverty, insecurity and youth unemployment. Nigeria's agricultural sector recorded a turnover of 101.46 trillion naira in 2025, up from 96.46 trillion naira in 2024. As annual real growth rose to 2.92% from 1.69%, based on an improved investment drive. The National Bureau of Statistics (NBS) gross domestic product figures for full year 2025 indicated a 5.18% increase in the sector's nominational contribution to GDP year-on-year, reflecting what stakeholders believe is driven by renewed investor interest amid favorable government policies, including importation waivers. A breakdown of the 2025 performance showed that crop production led the sector with 64.41 trillion naira. Livestock contributed 25.66 trillion naira, forestry generated 6.47 trillion naira, while fishing accounted for 4.92 trillion naira, bringing total turnover to 101.46 trillion naira. Chairman of the Lagos State Chamber of Commerce and Industries, Agriculture and Allied Group, Tunde Banjoko, attributed the improved performance to private sector investments and policy signals that boosted confidence. And on the international news, the United Nations has raised an alert over rising global poverty and hunger, warning that the world is off track to eradicate extreme poverty by 2030. A central target of the Sustainable Development Goals, SDGs, the global body in a statement shared on its social media platform said about 808 million people, or 1 in 10 people worldwide, were living in extreme poverty in 2025. It explained that the figure represents an upward revision from earlier estimates following an update to the international poverty line, now defined as surviving on less than $3 per person per day at 2021 purchasing power parity. The UN, while noting that the extreme poverty has witnessed remarkable declines over recent decades, warned that progress has slowed significantly, describing as shocking the resurgence of global hunger levels to those last observed in 2005. It also highlighted the persistent increase in food prices across a larger number of countries compared to the 2015 to 2019 period, describing the dual crisis of poverty and food insecurity as a critical global concern. Still in the news, China has called for a ceasefire and diplomatic talks to end the conflict in the Middle East as it stretched into a third day. Foreign Ministry spokeswoman Ma Wuning told a news conference, urging a resolution through dialogue and negotiation. She noted that the most urgent task is a cessation of military operations and preventing a spillover of conflict. The minister added that one Chinese citizen was killed in Tehran, where Israel and the United States have been carrying out strikes in an operation that killed the Islamic Republic's supreme leader. And lastly, on sport updates, Arsenal has regained their 5-point lead at the top of the Premier League after beating Chelsea at Emirates Stadium, European Premier League. Manchester City had heaped pressure on the Gunners by cutting their lead to 2 points with victory at Leeds on Saturday. But after a cagey start with few chances, Arsenal opened a scoring from a corner in the 21st minute. Centre-back Gabriel Magalhaes headed Bukayo Saka's cornerback across goal to his defensive partner William Saliba, whose header struck Mahmoud Sarr on the arm before going into the net. The win puts Arsenal on 64 points, 5 clear of Manchester City, having played a game more than their rivals. Finally on the news, here's a recap of the top stories again. Presidency refutes viral video alleging plot to poison Tinubu. Independent National Electoral Commission pledges credible and transparent 2027 polls. Troops of Operation Hatlunkei repel terrorist attacks and kill scores. And on the international scene, United Nations warns of rising poverty and hunger globally. And on sport news, Arsenal beats Chelsea to retail top place on Premier League table. On behalf of the news editor, Ilya Ademuauta, and the production crew, my name is Sumaya Mustafa. Thanking you and bye for now.